Archives of Prasar Bharati presents the timeless treasure of golden era.
जीना यहाँ मरना यहाँ इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ.
Almost 6 years in the making, Raj Kapoor's magnum opus, Mera Naam Joker, was meant to be an autobiographic declaration, a tragicomic expression of the clown who made the world laugh but cried silently inside. The film had delightful moments of personal experiences and in some ways symbolized the work, aspirations and image of its creator. Mera Naam Joker, however, was an expensive indulgence. Raj Kapoor had staked everything in the project, but the film was a commercial disaster. It was also a farewell performance of sorts, for never again after this did Raj Kapoor face the camera in a film directed by himself. Born in Peshawar on the 14th of December 1924, Ranbir Raj Kapoor started his career on the stage with his illustrious father, Prithvi Raj. The Kapoor family was to dominate the Hindi film industry for years, but it was Raj Kapoor who held center stage as actor, producer and director. By the time he produced and directed his first film, Raj Kapoor was already an established actor. Aag, his directorial debut at the age of 23, was a brooding melodrama. He cast Nargis in the lead role opposite himself, giving birth to one of the immortal screen pairs of Hindi films. The film was set in the background of the theatre world and explored the conflict between inner and outer beauty.
For us, the making of Aag was like one big picnic. Whenever we were off school, we go on his sets, the free food, free lunches, free dinners. And because in those days they used to shoot at nights, they used to shoot at daytime too, and for us it was one big holiday. It didn't quite register that he was out there directing a movie, producing a movie for the first time. From an actor, he'd become an actor, director, producer.
Barsaat, his second film, was to become a phenomenal success. Weaving separate tales of love and loyalty, the film teamed Nargis and Raj Kapoor once again in an intensely romantic film. The romanticism was in the realms of an exalted plane, and a pulsating passion throbbed throughout the film. Quiet melancholy and deep-felt emotions were captured in brilliant black and white photography, and the 10 songs of the film, each of them a super hit, confirmed that Raj Kapoor's temperament could match the popular taste. He learnt a lesson he never forgot, that his foremost aim should be to entertain his audience. By this time, Raj Kapoor's ambitions were matching his dreams, and he began to build a studio in Chembur, then a remote suburb of Bombay. But even before the studio walls were erected, he asked his art director to build a huge set for a spectacular dream sequence he conceived for his next film. The film was Awara, and the sequence remains immortal, as it was to be imitated in countless Indian films since that day. It was also Raj Kapoor's foray into the world of spectacular showmanship. Awara was to confirm the stupendous talent of Raj Kapoor. The legend was already in the making, and from a young director tentatively feeling his way, a showman was emerging. A filmmaker who could communicate with his audience, and who had the perfect recipe for gigantic hits of the popular cinema. But once again, the base was a series of incredibly melodious songs.
I think Awara was Raj Bhai's best film. He was 26 years old when he made it. Raj Kapoor was a great romanticist, you see. And every film of his had love, had a lot of romance, a lot of passion. So besides the social structure of the film, I think it was the love which spoke of a universal language, which was understood by people in Russia, by people in England, by people in China. And I think that's what made it such a big, big success.
The story of Awara revolved around the theme of how social environment impinges and shapes the character and moral fiber of a person. He cast his own father, Prithvi Raj, as a judge in a major role. and the film brought the two into direct conflict. The Raj-Nargis pair was already searing the celluloid world, and Awara was to storm its way into the hearts of millions of viewers, not just in India, but the Arab world and the Soviet Union as well. The title song went on to become one of the all-time great hits, and many nations hummed and swayed to its infectious tune. So much so that when Raj Kapoor and Nargis went to the Soviet Union as members of an Indian film delegation, they were greeted by a hysterical fan following. In this rare footage of their visit to Russia, the song has been sung by Raj Kapoor himself. Gradually, the themes which were to dominate the early Raj Kapoor films were also becoming clear. In Shri 420, Raj Kapoor went further than Awara in creating the Chaplin-like image, that of a bumbling tramp, a comedian with tragic overtones. His costume of disheveled trousers and shabby coat gave him the look of a harmless and sympathetic character, an honest man whom circumstances will force to become a crook. It will be a screen persona that Raj Kapoor would be most identified with, even after he became a movie mogul. But it was Raj Kapoor's concern and identification with the underprivileged and the underdog which allowed him a special rapport with his audience. His early films played on the class conflict between the rich and the poor. And it is this naive, almost simplistic declaration which Raj Kapoor used time and again as a device to obtain sympathy for his character.
It had a lot to do with our father, our guru, Shri Prithviraj Kapoor Sahab. In Papaji's theatre, Prithvi Theatres, apart from Shakuntal, all the other plays, Diwar, Pathan, Ghaddar, Ahuti, Paisa, and then Kisan, they all spoke of certain problems of the people. And I think he probably, he kind of graduated from the theatre into the movies. And I think that's what he carried with him, and he put it in his films.
Even in the films he only produced, Raj Kapoor's social concerns were evident. In Jagte Raho, a film directed by the Bengal stage thespian Shambhu Mitro, and which won the prestigious Grand Prix in the International Karlovy Vary Festival, Raj Kapoor's sympathies were apparent.
आप लोग मुझे क्यों मारते हैं? मेरा कसूर क्या है? गरीब किसान का बेटा हूं मैं. नौकरी ढूंढने शहर में आया था.
Raj Kapoor's contemporaries were the giants of the Indian film industry, Guru Dutt and Bimal Roy. And Kapoor himself put together a team of highly talented writers and technicians. Most of his screenplays were co-written by Khwaja Ahmad Abbas, and Shankar Jaikishan were the music directors for his early films. But it was his favorite playback singer Mukesh with whom he shared a special relationship and to whose voice he realized he owed part of his popularity.
मैं तो सिर्फ एक जिस्म हूँ, हार मास का पुतला हूँ. रूह अगर कोई है मुझ में, तो वो मुकेश चंद है.
He was a musician. He was an amazing musician. He was trained for a very small while, very little while, by R.C. Boral, who used to be the big music director at New Theatres in Calcutta in the 30s. And I suppose it was inborn. I think he got it from my mum. My mother was a singer, not my father. My father and I, we both didn't have the music ear. But I think it was my mother that he got it from. And he had this kind of Saraswati ka vaas boliye, ek den boliye. And he was a natural musician. Koi bhi instrument aap de dijiye to baja lete the. Whether it was an accordion or a piano or a sitar or a tabla or a flute or a duff. And he used to play it. Then he, without learning the different rags, yet he acquired this sudden knowledge. Maybe it was inborn,
Having discovered the secret of popular music quite early in his career, Raj Kapoor worked hard at both the songs and their picturization. And even in his later films, when he teamed with other music directors, he could coax out of them an orchestration which somehow always had that special RK flavor. The incredible success of his films inspired awe and admiration, and Raj Kapoor's lifestyle began to match that of a movie mogul.
He was very particular about traditions also. Traditionally bound, we had those regular festivals. The Holi festival was always a very popular event in the RK studios. Because Holi was all about romance and music and dancing. It's part of what we were doing in our film business.
His fondness for the good life and parties was becoming part of the showman's legend.
He was a born showman. When he was little, and if he got a firing or if he got a yell, and the reaction was a natural reaction of weeping, he would go near a mirror, watch himself, which later on Rishi Kapoor did. Because I remember that was during my time, because I was, what was I, something like 14 years older to Rishi. So itna zyada Rishi, hum log usko thappad marte the, and he would immediately go find a mirror and go, so Raj Kapoor used to do that, and then Rishi did that.
With the advent of colour, Raj Kapoor launched Sangam, a project he had postponed for years.
He was to make Sangam a long time earlier, as a matter of fact, under the original name of Gharonda. It was written by Indarajanan. And as a matter of fact, if I do remember correctly, Raji wanted Mr. Dilip Kumar to play the role of what Rajendra Kumar eventually did. He was to do the role that he played, and this was much, much earlier. This was, I think, very much nearer the Awara time. But then, of course, there was, it never got down to it. And then eventually he went on to make 420, and then he made Jis Desh Mein Ganga Behti Hai. And after that, I think there was still a last-minute try to get Yusuf Saab to do that role. I think they didn't see or meet eye to eye on the... if I remember correctly, again, as I said, I haven't heard this directly from either Raji or Yusuf Saab, but I do remember having heard that Yusuf Saab said that I don't mind you doing that role and me doing this role, but I don't want you as a director. Let there be a third director to it, so that he is fair to both of us. So Raji felt very hurt about this, because this is my baby. It's what I want to do. It's like asking me to get out of the movie and just act as an actor. No way.
It was inevitable that the showman would exploit the glamour and visual splendor the medium now allowed him. And Sangam, made in 1964, would be a departure from the black and white RK films. The gloss and the glitter would be more evident. The film was essentially a love triangle involving 3 childhood friends. But despite Raj Kapoor's flashy direction, the film did not lose its core of intensity and managed to become a gigantic box office success.
I felt that the statement of that song, Dost dost na raha, Pyar pyar na raha, Ae zindagi hame tera etabar na raha, I felt it for the situation it was little contrived. But he said no, let me picturize it and you see the effect. And he created the effect because there was on the screen the 2 antras and 1 mukhra of the song, and both the antras he has picturized on me and Vajanti Mala's affair shots.
After the mega success of Sangam, Raj Kapoor was hard-pressed to find a project which matched his dreams, and he embarked on his most ambitious film. Almost 4 hours long, Mera, Naam, Joker was divided into 3 sections. It was an autobiography of the image he thought he represented. And in this narcissistic misadventure, Raj Kapoor went on a nostalgic trip, even using scenes from the early RK films.
I think Mera Naam Joker is his finest piece of work. Technically, and especially the first chapter of that picture, is something that can go down in the archives of any motion picture industry, of any part of this world, as one of the finest pieces of art.
The first section dealt with Raju's adolescence and his infatuation with his school teacher.
Simiji tells me something and I I react to her in a very different manner. I think she says she's getting married to Manoj. And this was a shot which I just copied my father. I mean, he just said, do it this way, and I did it that way. And they gave me a national award for it. I mean, everything in that film was my father. There was, total Raj Kapoor speaking.
Despite moments of great cinema and haunting music, as good as ever composed for any RK film, Mera Naam Joker was destined to be a major box office disaster.
After the debacle, at that time, debacle of Mera Naam Joker, he could have made any film with any big star. That current star could have been in his film. Any actor would have given his right hand to work with that kind of filmmaker, but he never did. He took me in the lead with a new girl, Dimple, that time made Bobby. And he proved it that he could make it with anybody.
There were many who felt that in casting his own son and Dimple in Bobby, Raj Kapoor was also trying to capture the magic of the early RK films. He may well have succeeded, for Bobby was to become a great and unqualified success.
बोलो ना।
आप यहाँ?
मैं अब कहाँ होंगी? मगर तुम?
In Russia, people still think that I'm Raj Kapoor's son and Dimple is Nargis's daughter. They still feel that, you know, like. And because probably they thought Raj Kapoor was me and Nargis was Dimple. And Bobby was quite a popular film in the Soviet Union. And I guess probably they were reminded of Awara.
The teenage love and the thin storyline was brought alive by the director's flamboyance, the freshness of the lead pair, and the lilting songs in the soundtrack. By the time he made Prem Rog, Raj Kapoor was concentrating on woman-oriented themes. And here he tackled the subject of widow remarriage in a highly conservative Thakur household. Though Padmini Kolhapure had worked with him earlier in Satyam Shivam Sundaram, he gave her an extensive screen test before casting her in the leading role.
Let's see, one take one.
माँ हम बाल नहीं कटवाएंगे माँ हम बाल नहीं कटवाएंगे
कटवाने पड़ते हैं
क्यों हमने क्या किया हमारा कसूर क्या है हमारे बाल मत काटो माँ हम क्या जानबूझ के विधवा हुए नहीं माँ
In the final edited version, this same scene becomes the dramatic high point of the film. Raj Kapoor's casting sense was impeccable, and this knack of looking for the right face for the right role had always paid him handsome dividends. Padmini, Vijayantimala, Dimple Kapadia, or Zeenat Aman. When he announced Ram Teri Ganga Meri, there was, as always, a clamour for the coveted lead role. And although even the Bobby star, then coming out of self-imposed retirement, was available, Raj Kapoor insisted on giving her a screen test. He, however, rejected her, relied on his intuition, and cast an absolute newcomer, Mandakini, in a film which was to become his greatest commercial triumph.
If you go back in retrospect, if you analyze all his works, and you can see lots and lots of faults, because he never made a film with the brain. He made the film with the heart. That was Raj Kapoor.
Raj Kapoor's achievements and his contribution to Indian cinema was recognized when he received the Dada Sahab Phalke Award in 1988. He collapsed in the auditorium minutes after receiving this highest honor from the President of India. He died a month later, on the 2nd of June, 1988. Though there will be endless debates about his exact contribution to the art of cinema, few can deny that he was one of the greatest entertainers, if not the greatest showman, known to Indian films.
जीना यहाँ, मरना यहाँ, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ? कल खेल में हम हो न हो, गर्दिश में तारे रहेंगे सदा. भूलेंगे वो, भूलोगे तुम, पर हम तुम्हारे रहेंगे सदा. रहेंगे यही हमारे निशान, इसके सिवा जाना कहाँ?